Hey there, fans of the Survivor Super Fun Time Show. Up in this episode, we interview Janet Carbin from season 39, Island of the Idols. Awesome interview, amazing. Normally we do a big old intro together, but Janet and I kind of kicked it off, and there was some little choppiness that was going on with the video, so I'm recording this intro, but I'm going to start the interview with Janet now.
So I was upset about 50. I was in the running. The thing that made me feel good is a lot of the survivors themselves felt I should have been on it. You know, that makes when your peers make you feel that way, that means a lot. So, there's a lot of things that go into it. And the people that were selected, I hold no malice towards them because anybody that gets selected, they're going to play and they're going to do the best they can. And it's going to be a game. It's not their fault that they were selected or not selected. And, I'm excited to watch it. There's some of my friends on there that I really hope did well, and I think they may have. So,
Well, I need you now to tell me who you think your friends are that are on there and who you think will do well.
Well, there's two people I'm really pulling for. Stephanie LaGrossa.
Okay.
She basically was one of my idols prior to me going on to the show to model my game. Like, man, that girl has some balls. She spent time by herself. It's, people think watching TV, you see them on the island and you see, she's by herself. It's very, like, it gets real quiet. It's dark. There's no light. You hear some things in the woods and you're freaking by yourself. And she just did it, and she lost a lot of weight in season 50. So that's a good sign.
Oh, you think so? Oh, well, I have to admit, I've been avoiding a lot of the posts ever since the cast came back.
Well, I kind of talked to her on the side a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, Florida native, or not Florida native, Florida resident.
Yeah.
So, and fun random fact, I've met Stephanie once because I'm from Philadelphia.
Okay.
And she was like the in-game arena host for the Philadelphia Flyers for a little bit of time, the hockey team. Yeah. Met her one time. Wonderful. I'm rooting for it too, because there's a lot of fans now. Particularly, we were talking a little bit before how I came back as a fan for pretty much COVID, the new era. A lot of fans that started as fans don't understand how popular Stephanie was,
right?
And how impressive being the only person of the Oolong tribe on Plow really was. Like, it was Stephanie and Rupert for like 20 years, the most popular. So Boston Rob, I know, seems like the guy, but they were all in that same echelon. So Stephanie is one that I'm really glad to see back as well.
Yeah. And
who's your second?
Rick Devens. I would love to see him do well.
I love Rick Devens. I'm so glad you said Devens.
Yeah.
Because obviously his season was right next to yours. Edge was, right back to back pretty much with Island of the Idols. Have you spent a lot of time with Devens?
I've spent time with him and talking with him. Like, actually, I'm going on a little bit of a car ride. We're going to stop and see Jamal on the way back. Might see Johnny Fair play. And maybe I'm going to reach out to Devens, on our way down, since we have a car, my husband and I, and stop and see some people. But they've always opened their door. Him and his wife are so gracious, But yeah, I also I know I'm flitting around here a little bit, but
let's float.
Look at 5th place finishers.
Oh, they're beasts.
Almost all your 5th place finishers, because, and I, looking back on it, because that's the person that they think is going to win the game. If you look back on all those 5th place finishers on a lot of shows, if you were to look at the tribe and really find out what was going on inside of the tribe, I'll almost lay my bottom dollar on it. That was the person that was going to win the game.
I mean, pretty much you're right. I mean, just super quick recap of 5th placers I can think of off the top of my head. Edge, Devens.
Yep.
Island of the Idols, you.
Yep.
I actually forget 40 off the top of my head.
Ashley Nolan was a 5th place finisher.
Oh, yeah.
35, I think it was, or 36.
Oh, yeah. 41 was Ricard, and I love Ricard.
Right.
42 is Lindsay Dolovich. I can't remember the name.
Yes, Lindsay. I was pulling for her.
She was
a
awesome.
strong player.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you.
43 was Carla.
Yeah.
44. Well, that was Lauren. She probably wasn't going to win the game, but she may have. There were so many Ratu on that jury. She may have won the game if she got there. 46 was Maria Strime Gonzalez.
Yep.
And 47 was Andy, I think.
Yeah. I'm telling
you,
I sent that suggestion in. Make it for 50 when they were asking for like themes and stuff. I said fifth place finishers, season 50. You know what I'm saying? It would have all fell into that whole thing.
You say, listen, 50 starts with 5, baby.
That's what I said.
Well, obviously, fifth placers got to be, and honestly, you're right. Fifth placers are more impressive usually than third placers or even second placers in the new era, which is fascinating.
Yep. I mean,
it's because they know once that fifth place person makes it to the fire round, you can get to the end.
If that fifth place person, most of the time, if they got in, they were going to win.
I think you're right. I think there's a ton to that. Absolutely. So I'm glad you pointed that out. Good for you. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a little bias involved with your fifth place association, but you're not wrong about that.
I know.
I mean, thinking about, to your experience in Island of the Idols, at that point, when you were at Final 5, it was like, listen, it's Final 5. I have an idol. I'm probably going to murder anyone I play against fire. So all I need is get through this and I'm done. I probably have.
I thought I was golden. I thought I was totally in.
Well, idol nullifiers are so tough, and that's one of those advantages I'm not a huge fan of because I like to see idols played. I'm sure you're not a big fan.
Especially at that point. Think about it. That's so late in the game. The only way, there were two things that haunt me a little bit. Right before Elaine got voted out, she was right before me. She turned to me at Tribal. And I had the idol at that point, and I'm like, I know I'm in. And she turned to me and she said, Janet, we need to change this now, and change it at that Tribal. And I didn't, because I knew I had an idol in my pocket.
Why change course?
Had I agreed to do that, that would have flipped the game on its head. The other thing was, had I found the second idol on the island, the last island, that the one that Dean had, because what you guys didn't see is Tommy and I had searched for that idol for about 2 hours. On TV, they showed Dean. That was like the last half hour. Dean got up and started doing stuff with Tommy. But Dean found that idol, and I was so close to it so many times. Had I found that second idol, then I could have idled out the nullifier.
Absolutely. Imagine that. If we double idol, it's like, oh, sorry, I have an idol to counteract your idol nullifier. That would have been huge.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I've only seen one double idol play ever, maybe. I think it was Heroes versus Villains, Parvati, but I don't know.
I mean, do I have unfinished business? Yes, I do. But I'm not going to let that dictate, because it could get into your mind. It could get into, like there were a lot of us for season 50. And I'm saying us, I'm talking for other people that I know that I've spoken to that should have been on or were possibly going to be on with all of us. And it really was a mind, F, for a lot of us, how it all works. And I'm not going to let that alter my life in any negative fashion. Like I didn't make it onto 50, so I called all my friends and we swam around the Keys. We rented a pontoon boat. We decorated it with pirate flags and had pirate shirts and hats and music, and we swam around Key West. And that's what we did. Instead of, at the time, I would have been on season 50.
I think we call that a healthy response.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, it's so tough because season 50. There were so many people that didn't make it that I thought would. And there were a few people that made the 50 cast. I didn't think so. But I will say, as kind of a disclaimer, even though I would have loved Janet to be on this, and I think probably should have, I think that the cast they ended up with was very good, objectively. Like it's a very good cast.
It's a good cast, and I will say this too, and they're almost all the old school people are friends of mine. And I say this objectively, not personally, because I've said this to even my friends. I don't think anybody should have been on it that had it been on it more than once or one. And then from the same season, three people from the same season.
That I agree with for sure.
Yeah.
I like as a reply, I like having at least one winner because I like seeing the dynamic of how everyone else treats a winner. Because like it could be different. Like Survivor All Stars season 8, the idea was we're getting rid of all the winners, no question, and they didn't have a shot. But some like a season like Heroes versus Villains, where Sandra was the only winner. Well, JT was the other winner too, and JT honestly was doing pretty well for a while. Sandra won, so no one cared that she was a winner. Like, but going into 50, I'm like, well, is there any chance they let D get to the end? Is there any chance Kyle gets to the end? I don't know. So I'm kind of intrigued by that. And I agree with you about the multiple seasons, but I'm curious what you think about the winner factor.
I think if they won, they should not have been back on. No, absolutely.
And why is that?
Because I think there's enough other Survivor players that are just as personable and have just as much show quality and whatever CBS and Survivor is looking for. If you give me one stereotype that they want to fill, I could give you 6 people. And if one of those 6 people has already won $1 million, let the next person try.
I pretty much agree with that. I mean, I think that's fair. It's really a battle of those two competing ideas for how to structure the game. Is one, it's like, let's give someone else a shot to fill that slot. Or 2, it's like, well, they've already won. Will the other people try to attack them like Piranha or not?
And that's what the difference is as a person who is observing the show, a fan, and a survivor. Now, the people in the Survivor world feel very much like I do, except if you've been like Ozzy and I were talking, except if you've been like the people that are getting to get put on a second time. But they also agree, from the Survivor perspective of us, we don't, because anybody that's won, they're getting mixed right away.
Well, I hope. Could be fun. Well,
the way we as survivors look at that is that was a spot that I could have had that maybe could have gone further. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Where you've got this winner who's going to get chucked out right in the beginning. It's like a wasted spot. It's like those people that went on to Survivor and quit because they were whatever, when there were 9,000 other people that would have loved that spot.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong sentiment too. No question.
So.
I mean, so then I guess it's kind of a follow-up because one of the people you talked about, you spoke with, Ozzy. This is going to be his 5th time, I think, playing the game. So like in a perfect world, you probably would be like, hey, the Ozzy spot should probably have gone to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ozzy or even Stephanie. This would be your 4th time.
And trust me, they compared me, the producers on the island compared me to Ozzy as far as how I ran around barefoot and I fished and all that kind of stuff. And Ozzy, I love him and adore him, and I'll see him in December and give him a big hug and a kiss and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't think any of those people should have been on it.
No, I think that's really fair. I mean, and you're just talking as a game maker, not as a friend.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. And I totally get that. I mean, it's so tough because Jeff's like prompt of it all was, this is the season of celebration. So if we're going to do celebration, it makes sense to have Stephanie, one of the most popular ever, Ozzy, one of the most popular ever, Colby, one of the most popular ever, and a friend of Jeff's. So it makes sense. But I do agree with you that as a fan who's looking at like hardcore strategy stuff, and we're looking for, people that are really in it. I don't know if those would have necessarily been my picks. I would rather have seen, especially people from season 35 to 39 who haven't had a chance to return up to this point.
That's what a lot of us said.
Yeah. And kind of out of curiosity, from your cast, other than of course yourself and Tommy's, he's rolled out now. because, you know, he's a winner. Let's just say a guy and a girl. Who do you think ideally should have probably been up for consideration for a season 50?
Well, of course, people are going to say Lauren and Elaine because they're very popular stereotypes, and you
Mhm.
know, and Lauren for what she's really doing very well. If they're looking for media presentation, Lauren should have been the choice. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I will tell you this: if I was in a perfect world, I would love either my Jamal, who I'm going to see, to be on, and Jason Linden, who never even,
Jason.
Jason didn't, he got voted out right before jury.
Yeah.
He got swap screwed bad.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
really did. He really did. He was a good player. And the other thing that you guys didn't see, the public didn't see, is how close Jack and I were. Jack and I were very, very close. And everybody, he gave me his jacket when he got voted off. You didn't see it, but you saw me walk off with it in my hand.
You got
And
Jack's jacket. All right.
yeah, I mean, and Jack and I were extremely close. And when they got him off, that was like a big hit to me. They were trying, you know what I'm saying? They were trying to hit me too.
Oh
But
yeah. And Jack was really close with Jamal too, right?
Jack was close with Jamal, but it was like Jamal, Jack, and I.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
You guys, the public didn't see that a lot.
No, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
they didn't. You know, it was the three of us. And I remember Jamal and I sitting down. And I was the one, because Jack actually lived with Jamal after the show for a while.
Oh, really?
And I was the one that said to Jamal, he needs a strong male mentor, and you are that person. And he's like, really? And I'm like, really? And then they wound up developing this whole relationship, and Jack moved in with Jamal for probably a year. But Jamal said to me, we remember sitting down, and he said to me, how are you going to be when we have to vote off Jack? And I said, I'm just going to crawl up in a ball and cry, but I know we're going to have to do it. But we didn't, because you saw what happened, you know, on the show. But yeah, there was a lot of things that were very different that the public didn't see.
Oh, I believe that for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
because you know, two things. One, they can only put so much in, and two, they want to craft characters in a
Yeah.
certain way and relationships in a certain
Yeah.
way. And I mean, obviously, no one knows that better than yourself, you know.
Yeah. Now, the other person who I think would be a very good player who never got the opportunity to show it was Molly, who was the first vote off. And that was my fault. And
Why was it your fault?
Molly and I, because I orchestrated it. And because I saw how strong a player she was, and I saw what was happening, and then I got planted a seed with Lauren and the other girls, and so anyway, but, you know, but Molly would have been a formidable player, so I was really happy to get her out of there.
She had a lot of tools. It was probably a smart move.
Yeah.
Like in short term, it feels hasty to some degree, like, because it depends. It's competing. Like, do you want to be strong as a tribe overall? Do you think maybe someone can help you down the road? Or realistically, if I plan to be in the game a long time, is she probably going to find a way to get me out if I don't do it now?
Well,
Molly probably fits that.
Well, you're right, and that was my thing. Again, my goal was to be, one of my goals was to not be the first person voted off, which the older woman always is. So
Yeah,
that was my goal, to break that stigma. And I think Molly would have gotten me out. I
it's true.
saw that coming.
It's usually either the oldest woman is either the first out or they make it to fifth. I mean, actually, yes, Survivor 45, Julie made it, was fifth as well. Oh my
Yeah, but
God.
prior to my season, 39, I challenge you to look at how many older women made it past the first or second vote.
Yeah, I mean, percentage wise, it's probably not great. Yeah, I'm gonna have to revisit back at that.
I
mean,
want you to revisit that, because I don't think there's any.
oh yeah, there are. There's got
Okay.
yeah. Oh
Pat,
yeah, because well,
who?
I could tell you one right now.
All right.
Well, in
Tina.
Survivor Africa, well, Tina
Yeah.
won season 2.
Yeah.
Kim Johnson, Survivor Africa,
Yeah.
got second.
How old was she?
Kim Johnson, she was maybe 52.
Was she?
Something like that. Let me see
All
here.
right. All right. I stand corrected.
I know Jan in Survivor Thailand, but like it's a very boomer bust situation. If you're
Yes.
because right away, everyone, admittedly, I think you're right. The tribes are going like, old lady can't keep up. We should
Yeah.
consider voting them out as a standard.
Yeah.
It's like as if you didn't even have like a second leg or something. It's
Yeah.
just guaranteed.
Yeah.
But then the other way, it's like, well, it's a game of personality, so we'll just keep going along
Right.
and we'll carry them. Is
Right.
what the
It's
mindset
a vote.
was.
It's a vote. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where I think it was a little different, and the mold is kind of broken with, people like yourself,
Yeah.
where there's certainly no carrying.
Yeah.
It's,
No,
you're a super strong
I
swimmer.
really wanted to make sure of that.
Yeah. And that's where it totally differentiates, I think, for sure. Cause like Kim Johnson carried, Tina carried, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Jan in Thailand carried, whereas I do not think Janet was carried.
When I was interviewed, they interview you before you go on and stuff. And they said, well, what role do you want to play? And I said, I'm going to be a provider. And they looked at me and I says, I am not going to be one of those women back at camp. I'm going to have my ass is going to be out there providing. And so I was happy about that.
You didn't say weave palm fronds for the shelter?
No, that wasn't happening from this girl.
I always hear from Survivor castaways, they always say, by the way, pro tip, if you ever go out to play, don't weave palm fronds. It's a giant waste of time. Is that
Giant
true?
waste of time. All right, so here's the deal. So, and it was my season. And again, there were so many firsts on my season. There were so many good cast members on my season that if they had been spread out onto other seasons, they would have dominated. I really believe that.
Okay.
But on my season, so we made tree houses and they said nobody ever did that. And we discovered breadfruit. And for the
Oh,
first time, they had been waiting for 4 years for somebody to discover breadfruit.
wow. How'd
So
you do that? Wait, hold on. Before you move on from that, how'd you find the breadfruit no one else did? Like,
because I
what'd you
did a
check?
little bit of research of what plants and stuff might be out there. And then I went into these really weird websites of like the people of the area and what they ate and what was a staple. And they showed this breadfruit and what it looked like and then how to cook it. And when we found the first breadfruit, everybody thought I was crazy. And I threw it right into the fire, just the way it was. And then they were like, oh my God. So that's how it all started. And then we
Oh,
learned how to cook it and we added water from the ocean and yeah. So anyway,
wow. You
yeah,
started a trend.
yeah.
Okay.
So the breadfruit was from this girl. But where was I on my original thing?
We're talking about, you told them you were going to be a provider. You weren't going to be sitting back at camp. You said all the people on your cast, if they were spread out, they would dominate.
Yeah. There was a point I was making. This is part of my problem. I go off on these agendas, and it'll come back to me at some point. Whatever I
It's all
was.
good. Yeah, you said we were the first ones to find breadfruit. We made tree houses.
Oh, that was it. That was it. So we made tree houses, the palm fronds. So what I did, like Tom Sawyer, I looked at the trees on the beach, and then we got the palm fronds. And what you had to do is you had to lay the palm fronds cross each other. So you lay it over the trees and stuff like that, over the branches, but you cross the palm fronds. That way, when it rains, the water runs out. It doesn't run right down.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, because eventually the weight, I assume, would collapse.
Well, then you just get all wet, with the
Wow.
water running in the sand. And
Yeah, we don't need that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the Island of the Idols, not Island of the shivering, cold, freezing.
There were some of those nights, though.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the toughest things. It seems like it's so unavoidable for the most part. But as much as because I'm sure you talked to other castaways and yapped it up. Is there a certain season that's kind of like the blessed season when it comes to avoiding the rain? Like, Survivor,
Yes.
they film back to back now.
Yes.
So like, does 41 get all the rain and 42 actually has a pretty lovely time?
Yes. One of the seasons they film back to back. The 2 seasons they start filming in March, like March, April, ends in May, and then May, June, I think ends in June somewhere. But the first season's the rainy season.
Oh, okay. So 49 probably got rained on a lot, and
Yeah.
50, it's probably going to be pretty nice out
Better.
when that comes around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's good. I don't want them to rain on my Hands of the Fans parade. I didn't vote for
Yeah.
that. Brilliant. But that's awesome. I guess is kind of I think a lot of those picks are really awesome. One that I was hoping to hear, but to be fair, it wasn't because of gameplay or strategy. It's just because I love kind of outrageous characters on Survivor. And Nora was always one of those people for me. She's a wild, she's kind of a cuckoo bird in many ways, and I love that. When I watched Survivor season 44, I saw
Yep.
shades of Nora when I watched Carolyn Weiger.
Well, that's that personality. That's that character type that they were filling. Yes.
I agree, and I didn't think there was that on season 50, and that's where I was a little surprised. No Nora,
Well, I
no
agree with
Carolyn.
you, but I feel like there were a couple people that were dropped out right at the end of 50 that may have filled that type. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, because we know Carolyn got cut like
Yes.
around March or something.
Yeah.
Because she made it pretty public. Carolyn and Jesse from Survivor 43.
Yeah.
And Jerry Manthe.
Yeah.
Poor Jerry Manthe. And well, Rome
Abby.
from 47, but I think he's lying. And Abby Maria, yeah. Abby would have been one of those. Well, I don't know. She's older and she's probably more mature.
I think Abby was the one that they wanted for that stereotype, though.
And that's a shame that they wouldn't put her on, because I mean, to be fair, we do have to say this, I guess. Two people are on the season that are from 49 and we don't know anything about. And
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's ridiculous. I said this is season 50. There's so many, 50 is supposed to be the legendary season. There's so many people from so many seasons. Like, at least get one person from maybe each season or close to that. I don't know. People we don't even know. Let them go on later. Give them a returnee later. But, the CBS execs, have their reasons to fill positions.
It definitely seems that way. First of all, I would like to say I agree with you. I don't think anyone from 49 should have been on it.
Yeah.
I know there's kind of precedent. What's in Russell Hantz was on Heroes versus Villains, and he had just gotten done Samoa.
Yeah.
And Rupert was on All Stars, and he had just got done Pearl Islands. But for season 50, this is different. This isn't just another like returner season or All Star season. This was what we were told is, like, in so many words, the legend season.
Yes.
And the problem is I don't know anything about these two people.
Right.
And
how can they be?
And you're right. The disbursement was weird. There's 3 people from 46. There's 3 from 48. There's one person to represent all of season 41 to 44.
Yeah.
And that was weird to me because I think, 43 has a lot of people that you could pull in. 44, I thought Carolyn was a guarantee, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And, so it was interesting. And I don't know if this mystery person from 49 is going to fill that slot for Abby Maria, but I was very surprised someone like her did not make it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, then I guess kind of a question about season 50, since we're kind of rolling on that. For the most part, we've kind of just been impromptu kind of talking. Admittedly, I normally do some kind of an intro or something, but I kind of like this better, actually. And
I threw you off your game. I'm sorry. I'm known for doing that.
No. That's okay. That's good. You have to keep me on my toes. It actually makes me feel, I think, better about the whole thing.
All right.
So question here for you, since there are 2 people that you said you have big connections with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up a picture of a few of the tribes. Are you aware of how the tribe breakdown has happened for season 50?
I looked at it. All right. I'm going to be honest with you. For a while, I couldn't look at anything Survivor because I was so upset. And then I said, okay, they're my friends. It's not their fault. So I'm going to support my friends. So then I started looking at the tribe breakdowns. I'm not I looked at them briefly, and that's as far as I've done.
Brilliant. Okay. First of all, I appreciate that. The vulnerability there and answering it that way, because it's true. It's tough.
Yeah.
Even if it's not their fault, it doesn't matter that you can't feel annoyed or resentful, probably more toward who chose than them.
Yes. Not towards the players at all.
And the process, it's like really you're just bothered by the process, because you all are brought through the ringer of casting. And I think it's the casting producers' jobs to make you feel very, very, very special and then
Yeah.
drop you
I mean,
if
I
they
was a
have to.
4-time fan favorite. How many people were a 4-time fan favorite? You know what I mean?
It's tough to beat that. You got that SIA money.
Yeah.
That's right. And
But
you had been applying since Borneo, famously, right?
well, since the beginning, since the
Yeah.
from the, and I sent one in the beginning. I applied 4 times.
Well, here's a wild time. This is a weird question. Have you applied since you were on Island of the Idols?
We don't have to because we have Jesse Tatumbaum. I actually talked to him. He's our casting director. I've talked with him. They know they're the ones that will pick us. But I will say this: Mama C, Carolyn Rivera, and I have applied for Deal or No Deal Island. They're looking for duos. So
Oh, okay.
we sent an application in together.
Good for
So
you.
we're waiting to hear, see if we get selected. We'll see what happens.
See, that's what I want to hear. And the reason why I asked that is because, first of all, I've heard of 1 or 2 players of the past, not so much
Right.
anymore, applying again. But 2, I know players of the new era that not only have applied for like Survivor, but they've also now, since the game being done, applied for Australian Survivor.
Yeah.
They've applied to the Traders.
Yeah.
And I didn't things that you would think you don't have to do, like you don't really have to apply. They should know you. You're on one of their shows. But
Right.
I'm intrigued to see what players have
Only
cooked
if
up.
it's Amazing Race, Survivor, and Big Brother. That's the same casting director.
Ah, yes. Okay.
So that's Jesse, and I've been in touch with him. And I would never want to be on Big Brother. Oh my God.
That was going to be my question too. Big Brother's
Never.
firing on all cylinders right now.
That would be like, see, I'm so ADD and hyper. Like sitting down for 2 hours is like takes an effort for me. I've seen that house where I could not imagine being locked in. And Sari actually talked about that. See, because when you guys watch Big Brother and the guy comes out and says, "Hey, it's time for the veto meeting." Well, they've been sitting in a room probably for 2 hours while they're setting up all this decorations and everything. I would lose my freaking mind. When I was applying for Survivor, one of the things that they send you out to California and you're there for a week and you're in a hotel room and you can't like talk to anybody. I was doing forward rolls from one bed to the other bed and doing like push-ups and jumping jacks on commercials. Like you take somebody like me and put them in a room or like forget it. That's like torture.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You would not. I don't think you'd function well in the house,
I wouldn't.
admittedly. And that's
wouldn't.
okay. That's good because
Yeah.
like you're an adventure type lady. You like to get out and do something. Big Brother is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
You better get
Deal
comfy.
Island or Amazing Race, I would do in a heartbeat.
Well, that's perfect because Mama C, by the way, never talked to her. I reached out to her for a hot second. Never talked to her, but I'm a huge Survivor Worlds Apart fan. I love Mama C, big fan of like Mike Holloway, and I think she clearly has so much investment in her health and achieving and everything. I see it all the time on her Instagram. So I think you and her pairing up for something like that would be huge.
Well, we do a lot of charity events together also, which is really good. And the angle that we put out there is here we've got the hero and we got the villain, and nobody will expect it, that we're like bonded, so anyway, so we have hopefully, who knows
who's the hero in that bunch and who's the villain.
I'd be the hero and she's the villain.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, we already got that down. Yeah,
I think that's probably fair.
Yeah.
She was kind of known for being a hot mouth on Worlds Apart.
Yeah.
She's still that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love her for it.
As fiery as ever, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. I think that would be a really good yin and yang type situation.
And that's what we said. That's what we're trying to sell ourselves. Hey.
That's right. Dealer, no deal, Island of the Idols. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Also, by the way, did you notice in the background of this video, I have a little Rob and Sandra sitting on the island in the background?
I do.
There you go. All right. Just want to get flashbacks to that.
Both of those, like when I first got off the show, Sandra was the first one to welcome me and ask me how I was doing. And Rob has always been very accessible as far as when I need videos for charities and stuff like that. So they're both very, very good.
Oh, well, that's a big deal because they're arguably the king and queen of Survivor.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they've, embraced you into the community. I mean,
Yeah.
ever since, and still
Yeah.
now, and that's really awesome. They really are idols, huh? They
Yeah.
really
They,
are.
they're good people. They really are. They help and do things like Rob doesn't do a lot of like say watch parties and things. He'll only do charity events. Like
Mhm.
he believes strongly in that, and I really appreciate that.
That's right, because there's the big one that usually happens
In
in December
December.
in Florida.
Yep, I'll be
Um,
there.
yeah, I always each year I always say, listen, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna meet some fine folks, maybe do some in-person interviews and stuff, and just geek out as a fan. Then every year I'm like, I just don't go because I'm up all the way at the top of the East Coast.
Well,
Yeah.
Ethan Zahn and I had a bet one year. Where were we? We were at a watch party, and I think we had oh no, we did an online thing, and my team won. So that was the thing. Whoever won, the other person had to go to their charity event. So I won. So he came to my charity event. So it was
You
great.
got Ethan to haul his butt over there. All
Yeah.
right, I love that.
And then
Again,
we went out to his house to do a watch party. And then my cycling group, my bicycling group, him and his wife are awesome. They've invited us. We're gonna probably go out and just bike out there and hang out with them.
where's he at now these days?
He's out near Lakeland in Florida.
Oh, okay. He's in Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, for
Well,
some
he's
reason I
got
thought it
two
was in.
places. He's there part time.
Whoa. Okay, Ethan.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you win $1 million and then you end up using it to, further everything else in life.
That's right.
That's well, he deserves it too, by the way,
He
because
does.
Ethan's so awesome.
He
I
does a
love
lot
Ethan.
of grassroots soccer, a lot of work with charities. I admire that.
Absolutely. There couldn't have been a better representative for Survivor Africa, which is the first season I watched as a fan.
Yeah.
And when he won and saw what he did after, he did a charity event here when I was a kid in Pennsylvania for grassroots soccer in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I remember I was like, Mom, I really want to go. It's going to be a great charity event. Didn't go. But ever since then, he's still done charity stuff. So I'm
He's
glad you
doing
do
one
it.
out
Like,
in LA, I think, soon, this week or next week.
oh, super awesome. Holy heck. What's name? Just I guess to kind of redirect back a little bit.
Yeah.
When we were talking about Island of the Idols,
Mhm.
I think kind of famously during that season to the actual island itself, you got a letter that said Janet's got to go. And in
Yep.
that moment, you took that pretty hard, actually.
I did.
Why?
Well, I was sitting at the top. I was at the top of everything. And whenever you get those things, you don't know what it's going to set out to be and what you're going to get. And I just didn't want this to destroy my game. But I was glad I had gone. And didn't do much for me, I don't think. I don't know. I played a couple games and I beat Boston Rob in them, But yeah.
You could say you beat Boston Rob at something.
Yeah, I
Not
told him
everyone
that.
can do that.
I said that. It was a game of chance. And I said, I'm beating you in this. And I did. It was great. It was great.
Well, because if I remember right, I mean, you went there and you practiced a little bit, and you said basically if you want to play for real, we can end up getting you can get an advantage from this experience, but the risk is, if you don't get it, you lose your vote.
You lose your
And
vote.
ultimately, you said no, correct?
That's correct.
And that was probably because of your standing. Is that right?
Well, if you were to look at my standing, I could have easily lost my vote. I probably could have played off. But I know me. And if I knew I had this advantage sitting in my pocket, it would have been burning a hole in my pocket, like to use it. And then I was thinking I could pass it off to Tommy, but I wasn't sure. All I kept going through in the scenarios in my mind, I realized I'm also food and sleep deprived at this point. So I'm not thinking real clearly at this point. So, and I'm thinking the best sleep I had was waiting to get on there to see them. But I'm thinking, if I have this thing and I get up at a tribal council and I walk away, that's going to put a huge target on me. And if I do that, and if I have this thing in my pocket, I'm going to use it. So it was almost like somebody on a diet who doesn't want to eat the piece of cake that's sitting in the refrigerator, so they throw it out ahead of time. So that was kind of where I was going. And I remember my husband saying to me, just be careful with what you decide. And I just was like, you know what? And here's the other thing. part of what I do when I speak to people now off of the show, listen to women, especially. Listen to that little voice inside of you, because when we don't, my whole life, the only time I screwed up is when I don't listen to the voice, because it's telling me something that might be uncomfortable, but it usually ends up to be the right decision. And my voice was telling me, don't take it. Don't take it.
And this advantage was safety without power.
Yeah.
Correct. So it was one of the concerns that if you were to use it and, you'd basically be leaving the alliance there to figure out the mess.
That's what I didn't want to do. I didn't want them to feel like I was walking away from and letting them have to deal with it, whatever was going on.
Well, I think that makes a lot of sense considering where you were at, for sure. I mean, no reason to make anyone be unsure about trust and like, why didn't you tell
Yeah.
us? And
actually, Rob and Sandra actually thought it was a good decision, which surprised me, and they told me so.
it's hard to argue. I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, because it was a game of chance, and the
Yeah.
idea of losing your vote was new-ish,
Yeah.
kind of at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
And obviously, Rob and Sandra know the value of a vote.
Yeah.
So, how much do you want to risk that?
Yeah.
And you're considering your position. I'm glad that you got the stamp from arguably the king and queen of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty huge, kind of parlaying that a little bit. One of the things you had talked about is, you talked about like, especially being a woman, listening to like that gut feeling. I mean, one of the big marks of the season was really you were in a pretty tight alliance for the most part. It seemed like with Dan.
Yeah.
And as part of that, there was a point where you had some of the ladies talk about like being uncomfortable with Dan and just like, listen, I'd rather just not be here. Maybe we should turn the tables. And you, based on what we saw, said, you know what? I know it's not super great for my gameplay, my strategy, but there's people that are telling me that they're actually being outside of the game affected. And I feel like I have to advocate. Now, that vote did not go your way, but that was listening to that gut. And it seemed like, not too long after you found an idol, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And like, to me, it felt like the universe gave back a little bit for good karma and advocating for people.
I agree with you. It was a tough time. And Dan was my main ally. And the thing was, I was trying to do good for the total tribe. And if that meant sacrificing, when you go on to Survivor, they ask you, what would you do or not do for $1 million? And I said, and if people know me, I'll friggin' basically do almost anything, but I will not injure another person. And I felt that what was going on was injuring the souls of other people. So that's why I took, and that's probably from being so many years on this earth. You know what I'm saying? If I was younger, maybe I wouldn't have made the same decision. I don't know. But I felt like souls were being injured, and that's when I didn't care about gameplay. But after all of the things the bad stuff went down and I got thrown down and, had to dig myself up from the bottom, I was able to do it. And I did it by realigning and climbing with Dan and climbing out of that hole, so I give myself a little props for that. But yeah, it was a crazy time, but I feel like I would probably wind up doing the same things again.
I think that's fair commentary considering you had to grind it out. So you had to work harder than you probably would have had the other way. But all things work out. Like you were a coin flip and an idol nullifier away from possibly winning the game.
Right.
So we can't say it was a bad decision.
Right.
I mean, it was something that would have satisfied, your soul. And ultimately, it seems like maybe still put you on the path to win the game. So I think you should be pretty stoked about how you treated it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, as a kind of a sort of a super not great follow-up, but for the Kelly vote, because when she had went, from what I recall, there was a point where you were pretty emotional about it. You said like, I don't even know if I should even be here any longer. How close do you think you really were to heading out at that point voluntarily?
Well, what you guys have to realize is that particular tribal was 4.5 hours.
Wow. Okay.
And there's a lot of things that were not seen. And I was definitely at a very low emotional place once I found out what was really going on.
Mhm.
And I think it was Jeff, and I'm going to say Tommy and Elaine, that made me stay. Jeff stopped everything, talked, and then Tommy, and I don't think that was shown. I'm not sure if it was shown on TV. Tommy stood up and did this whole speech, and Elaine said, "Do not leave." And when I saw that, it was like, okay.
You're like, there's genuine care here.
Yeah. And then I was okay.
Because I have to admit, I don't recall the Tommy thing, but that sounds like something Tommy
I
would
don't
do.
think they showed Tommy. And I think that was part of the problem, because he stood up at one point and said, "Everybody, I don't know what's," and he didn't. He goes, "I don't know what's going on here, but this, whatever this is, this attack is not right."
Yeah.
And
Well, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
I'm shocked they didn't show that, particularly because Tommy ended up winning the game, and it would make him look better, I think.
Well, a lot of that, again, comes down to, so you're going to see 11 minutes of a tribal council that was a 4-hour council.
Yeah.
So how do you edit that down and get the point across? And I just think that they couldn't. And with Rob and Sandra, there was a lot of airtime given to them that maybe would have been given to some of this other stuff.
Well, that's definitely right, because there was like a lot of fan chatter that was like, well, Rob and Sandra are here to boost ratings, essentially. So they have to get screen time.
And that's,
it took away from the game, though.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, it adds to the game, but it also
took away from what the public saw in the game.
I think so. I mean, especially when there's just like clips of Rob and Sandra just like listening behind like a bunch of palm trees and stuff. So that part was probably unfair. I would like to seen Tommy stand up. I would have liked to seen Elaine do that.
Yeah.
So it's great that you kind of fill in those gaps that really helped, remind you that, it was important that you were there. It was more than just, the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that makes me really happy because again, you were rewarded in the end.
I was.
And that's so cool, I think. And you can arguably have the title of the most pro female player to ever play the game, considering you laid the strategy on the line, like your whole game on the line, just because you felt you were advocating for some young women that were going through something that they reported to you. So that's pretty huge. No matter what, you can walk away with that. And that's massive.
Thanks. That does make me feel good.
Absolutely. Because you were true to yourself in the end. You didn't sell out anything about you.
So
that's pretty huge.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. Sorry to revisit so much of these things, but I'm sure
it's all good.
So much. All good. Heck yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's great you ended up finding an idol. Yeah. You have found 2 in that season, correct?
Yes, I did.
Heck yeah. Which is a
rare
feat.
Fish, first woman to spear a fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That one I did not know. The research
There's a lot of things. When they showed 50 and they cooked the breadfruit, that was because of me. When they showed people spearing fish, I was the first woman that speared fish.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Really?
That was part of my goal too.
That sounds like that would be right in the wheelhouse. Man, you're a badass, Janet. Don't you, like, obviously you're never going to forget that, but don't you forget that, because dang. Breadfruit and spearing the fish, that's like always usually.
And the Fire Queen.
Oh yeah, that's right. Actually, I really wonder, because right now the Fire Queen is Heidi from Survivor 44.
Well, Heidi that was for starting it quickly.
Yes.
I started it with nothing, just no flint or anything.
Oh, okay. Well,
the first half hour of the first game of the first. Man. Yeah, I started it with no flint. I was the only woman and only one of 5 people that ever did that.
It's pretty huge, because I think Boston Rob was even one of them.
Yeah, and I could start a fire in one, and we did a bunch of stuff here where I was blindfolded and stuff like that.
You just have casual competitions of starting fires.
Yeah,
and
well,
stuff.
We did it for watch parties, and we'd videotape it and put it out and stuff like that. Yeah, when all the
that's brilliant.
were here. Yeah.
Is there a way to get like you and like for a quick competition? Is there a way to get like you and Heidi and Gabler in a room and just see who can do it fastest?
Yeah, a lot of times we'll do that up in December when we go up.
Oh, perfect.
So I
Yeah.
always carry a knife and flint with me too.
Oh, really?
I've been stopped at airports for it. Yeah, I'll go to people's houses and I'll show them how to start fires and stuff like that with knives and flint. Yeah.
Man, you're hilarious. That's amazing. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Is it like one of those ones where it's a little flint and has a little
Yep.
knife attached? All right.
Yep.
Perfect.
I can
Perfect.
start it in one little click, baby.
Well, I mean, honestly, super impressive there. I mean, um, I, there's some other like kind of a cool, impressive stats. So basically, oldest castaway to find and play an idol,
Yeah.
Janet, and you found two. Super awesome. Tied with Scout from Survivor Vanuatu
Yep.
and Sue Smee from Survivor 47
Yep.
as the oldest to kind of make it toward the end there, which is pretty
Yeah.
huge. And I think those are huge accomplishments. Obviously, didn't walk away with the actual dub of the game, but totally fine.
Yeah.
So I guess not to I guess not to drone on too long about interviews because like I could talk to you for about a million years, but I was kind of curious this past season, Survivor 48. You watch, of course.
I did.
Of course. All right. How
Yeah.
did you feel about 48? Who did you like? Who did
I
you
actually
was a little
thought
disappointment?
48, I actually thought the people in 48 were good. I like Kyle as the winner. He would have been somebody I would have picked. I thought it was a good cast. I really do. I thought that the people in there, and I'm looking forward to actually seeing them in person in December.
Oh yes. Well,
You
because
know,
the big stories of the season are probably like Joe and Eva, of course, Kyle and Camilla. You have
mhm.
Shaheen and his glorious, majestic beard.
Yeah,
Say and Mary. A lot
yeah.
of fun storylines.
I think Kyle and Camilla were a very strong duo, and I thought they played it great. Um, the Joe and Eva thing, I'm not going to really comment on.
Okay.
Um, you know, I it's a funny situation. It worked for them,
Okay.
so
Well, yeah, it seemed to work pretty well,
yeah,
thankfully, because they got second and third,
yeah,
respectively, which is
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Obviously, there was some finishing issues, it seems like, with that pair. Like, they dominated the game, but they also, at the same time, didn't seem to have a lot of win equity by the end.
I
Uh,
agree.
you know what I mean?
I agree.
And that's unfortunate because actually, I love Joe, love Eva, but ultimately, Kyle and Camilla it seemed to be the straws that stirred the drink.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
I
Camilla,
agree.
she's coming back for 50. I
I
mean,
think,
how
yeah,
do you think she'll
Camilla
do?
went back to 50. We'll see what happens there.
Do you think it's more than likely? I mean, with me just popping this up real quick, her tribe is going to be interesting. Because we have Camilla, Dee, Chrissy, and
Yep,
Tiffany with Charlie, Jonathan, Mike White, and Coach.
yep. I know some things, and I don't know if they're true or not, but
Then don't say them.
yeah, I'm not going there.
Well, I appreciate. Okay, well, that's good. I appreciate
Yeah,
that. And I'm okay. So I'm super curious how she does there. There's 48 had a lot of good stuff.
yeah.
50, I'm super excited. I'll tell you the tribe I'm most excited about for 50. I'll just pop it up real quick for you.
Okay.
This one right here with Sari, Christian Hibicki, Jenna Lewis, Ozzy, Joe, Emily Flippin, who is my winner pick, Rick
Really?
Devens. Yeah, Rick Devens and the unnamed female from 49.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know who she is, but just for people who
Yeah.
don't know, then I just won't
Yeah.
say it. Emily Flippin, yeah, she's my pick. I love Emily from 45. She's really smart with this kind of tribe. There's threats everywhere. Like Christian's probably a bigger like brainiac threat. Sari is the veteran. Everyone should get out immediately. Ozzy, challenge beast from back in the day. Joe Hunter, current challenge beast. Rick
It's gonna
Devens,
be interesting.
absolutely. And Devens, we can't undersell how funny Devens
Oh,
is.
he is. He's hysterical.
I can't wait to see him back on my screen just for that. And he
Yeah.
was an idol hound. I mean,
Yeah.
just like you.
Yeah.
So it's something that can be underestimated. And I'll tell you right now, Jenna Lewis, no one should underestimate Jenna Lewis.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
She's
She'll
going to be a
fly
beast.
under the radar and she'll come out on top.
Absolutely, 100%. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be incredible. So, well, you're saying you possibly could know rumors about 50, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, that's a bummer. All right, so I was going to ask you, who do you think your winner pick is, and who do you think is going to go really far? But let's just say, who do you think who do you think Devins will get along with the best?
In his tribe?
Sure.
In his tribe or all together?
We'll say all together, just for the heck of it. And it could be from his tribe.
Devins will get along with Mike White. Devins will get along with all of them.
I think so too. I think he's a social butterfly.
Yeah.
I mean,
He'll
if you
get
get along
with all of them.
if you get along with War Dog, you'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, Devins is one of my favorite lines that apparently didn't make it on TV that he told behind the scenes. It was something like, the first day Jeff's on the boat, like looking at everyone on the boat, and he's like, "Hey, what's your name?" And War Dog says, "I'm War Dog, Jeff." And Probst is like, "Yeah, it's great. It's great." Then he points at Devins and says, "What's your name?" And he says, "Jeff, you're not going to believe it, but my name's War Dog too." And I think that is classic Devin. That's classic Devins, right? I love him.
Yeah.
But that's super awesome. I'm glad that, first of all, I hope that you and Mama C end up getting on Deal or No Deal
Fingers
Island.
crossed.
That would be massive.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a pretty awesome duo.
I'm putting it out to the airwaves.
Yeah, heck yeah. Or obviously we could have the fifth place finisher season.
That's right.
I know Carla and Maria would be super stoked about that kind of a situation. Ricard, I hope so. Man.
Actually, I'm telling you, they should do a fifth place finisher season.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. And actually thinking of that, if let's say there's an all-star season that comes up, or a returner season that comes up after season 50 from the new era, who's a player that has stood out to you? You're like, man, I would really love to play for or against them. Because I assume no winners, right? You wouldn't want them back.
I'm thinking Carla, I'd like to play with.
Good choice. Love Carla.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to play with her. I don't know. I'd have to think. See, I'm the type of person that once the room full of people are in front of me, then I make my moves.
You play the board you're on.
With all different types of people, nerds to jocks. Jeff asked me who's going to be my alliance members. I said, the strong male young athletes. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, because I like to play with all the rest of them. They don't have to worry about any sexual tension, and I just want to go play, and we all just have fun.
That's fair. I mean, you said you lined up with what, Jack and Jamal.
Tommy was
Tommy. You stuck to it.
Yeah. It's because I was a chief lifeguard. I had 200 male lifeguards. That's what I'm used to playing with. You know what I mean? Let's go do stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because really what it comes down, it seems like you're kind of just a little kid. You're looking out there to go do a bunch of stuff.
I'm 5. I'm 5 years old.
That's right. I love that. It's a great answer. Who knows? One day, maybe I'll pin you down to a person for some of these folks. Like, I don't know, Sam from 47, I think would be a good pairing.
I don't know.
You don't think Sam would work?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'd like Maria.
Maria. Oh, Maria's a cool one. She's known as a villain though.
Yeah,
is she going to be your villain?
Yeah. We'll bounce off each other. See, that's what a lot of people don't know, the strategy that I could go in with.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. I mean, you got to switch it up probably a little bit, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're versatile. You're like silly putty. You can be molded.
I flow with the best of them, baby.
That's right. Yeah. No, that's super awesome. Hopefully we see that chance happen soon.
Before I get too old. I'm like, come on, Jeff.
Rudy Bosch played when he was like 75.
That's right.
You're gonna beat those numbers.
That's right.
Because he was moving just fine, and I got a feeling you're probably gonna do the same if you ever play the game.
I hope so. We'll get that opportunity.
Heck yeah, because you were already on Island of the Idols. I think you were
I
officially
was
the oldest
59. I'm
lady on the
66
team.
now. I'm actually in better shape now, I think, than I was then.
I can believe that. All the
Because
pool
I have
floats.
time now. I can go play all the time. I spend 4 hours a day doing stuff.
That's true. Friggin' for this podcast, Janet. It's like, yeah, just go wake up in the morning, go maybe have a pool swim or a beach swim. I don't
Yeah.
know. Get some pool floats, hang out,
Yeah.
bike across Iowa. What a life.
It is. It's
Meanwhile,
good. It's good.
meanwhile, I sit here on a mic.
Yeah.
I Google.
Yeah. You'll have
Not
your
the same.
time.
Yeah, absolutely. Not it's different.
Retire early. Retire early.
Oh, those are the parting. Those are definitely the parting wise words of
Yep.
Janet toward the end of this pod. No
Yep.
questions. So everyone, if you can financially, Janet
Do
says
it.
retire. No, absolutely brilliant. Okay. So for the sake of time and everything, because we spent so much time talking about
I'm sorry. I got off
Survivor.
track.
Absolutely. But no, not off track one bit. It's like I'm typically very off track because I just like talking about so many
Yeah.
different things and kind of letting it flow where it goes. So we've talked about your experience on Island of the Idols. We've talked about a little for season 48 because it just wrapped. Season 50 coming up. Although some of the stuff, maybe since you know some of the folks, maybe we couldn't dive into quite as much, but that's okay. That's good. This is good. We're keeping the speculation alive right now,
Yeah.
Janet. It's gonna be awesome. So during the season, I would like to reconnect so we can talk
All
about
right,
that
we can do
a little
that.
bit there, which would
We can
be
do that.
huge. But I'm super excited that you got to talk with me today. I can't tell you how exciting it is to be able to sit and talk with some legends of the game, and you absolutely
It's
are.
my pleasure. My pleasure.
That's right. Because what are you gonna do after this? You're gonna go to the pool. You're gonna do another awesome thing.
I'm gonna go across the street, hang out in my friend's pool for a little bit with her, and we'll go from there.
I think that's super. Man, you know what? What a life, Janet. What a life. You're the idol of my island. How about
Oh,
that?
that's so fun.
It's so stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. Whatever. It's fine.
It's all good.
But like more formally, I just want to thank you again for coming to sit down and talk. You're gonna end this recording here, and I super appreciate it. And hopefully we can chat a little bit more in the future.
Of course.
That would be super awesome.
Reach out to me, and if I don't get back to you, reach out again, because sometimes I get very scattered.
Yeah. Yes. Come on. Like a girl's got to hang at the pool on occasion.